Hello everybody, welcome to you 2005. It's me again, Erdal, here together with James Sale from IT Masters. Both of us work for Charles Sturt University and IT Masters. This year we're starting with another free great course, and of course the topic is Virtualization Jumpstart. I guess you all signed up for this. If you did, perfect, you're on the right location. It came to our attention that the registration reminder email that you received had a wrong URL. We are really sorry for that. I can see we have lots of people signed in, but not all the people they signed up. So for the ones they couldn't log in, thanks God we got the recording, and promise we will make sure next time you have the correct email. I don't know what happened from the Citrix end, but we're using their platform, and for some reason you received the wrong email. We are sorry. Okay, back to topic. IT Masters. For the ones that don't know IT Masters, we are a body of Charles Sturt University. You can always go to our website, itmasters.edu.au, or you can follow our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/itmasters.edu.au. We have also Twitter feed. You can go and follow us on Twitter as well. This is not the only free course we're running. Last year we had, I think, more than 15 or close to 20, more than 20 courses which we run online. So feel free to keep an eye on our website, and you will all get lots of free courses. And if you want, you can also join our master's program or university program here at Charles Sturt University. And for that, our website is www.csu.edu.au. For the ones that don't know me, my name is Erdal. I'm a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional, also MCT. Currently, I moved to Dubai. For the ones they know me, I'm originally Australia-based, Sydney-based, but I had a great offer, and I just moved as Chief Information Security Officer to Dubai here. The weather is great, everything is great here. For the ones that want to reach me out, my email address, my blog details, my public Facebook, my Twitter, my LinkedIn, details are there. If you're using any Android, Windows, or Windows phones, or Apple phones, or Windows desktop, feel free to download my apps. I got my own app, which will give you lots of information about the courses, current security, virtualization events, all there. All what you have to do is later click into these links. Quickly about me, they call me an IT security guru. I have lots of business development and management skills. I usually focus on security, but of course, these days, cloud is a big game. Windows Azure or VMware, you know, they are big players. I am currently doing my PhD, and as you can guess, a lecturer at Charles Sturt University. I'm a graduate of Charles Sturt as well. I finished my master program, believe it or not, via IT Masters at CSU, which is Master of Information Technology, and I got many other awards or speaking commitments. You can always go ahead and read it later. To be honest, I'm not here to speak about me, but that's quickly me. Alright, and that's how I look like. I know you are not going to see me, or I'm not going to share my webcam with me, so don't expect anything ultra hot. That's what I am. And my blog details are there. Alright, are we ready? What are we going to cover in the next 5 weeks? That's the question. So this week we are starting onto Microsoft and VMware virtualization. It's going to be 101, the basics of virtualization. What is Microsoft offering? What is VMware offering? Microsoft versus VMware. Next week we're going to focus only on Microsoft virtualization. We are going to do deep dive, how you can create virtual machines, how you can create virtual machine hardware, virtual machines files, how you can deploy virtual machines, the differences between Hyper-V and System Center. So we're going to do deep dive on Microsoft virtualization. And it's going to be online again. For the ones in Australia, the time it's going to be 8 to 9:30 p.m. In Dubai, it's 1 p.m. In London, I think is 10 a.m. We have a couple of people from London as well. A week after, we're going to concentrate only on VMware virtualization. This time, I'm going to show you how you can create virtual machines, how you can create virtual machine hardware. So everything that we've done at Microsoft, this time in VMware world. And of course, we are going to do lots of demos, or as much as demos as we can. For the ones they joined my previous courses, you know, I create usually lots of videos, upload them later after the session to make sure we have a smooth process during the session. Now, last week, we are going to compare Hyper-V to VMware in detail. So how we can create data centers in both virtualization platforms. Even though today I'm going to cover why Microsoft virtualization, why VMware virtualization, we're going to show you that a bit more in detail, and more importantly, we are going to do exam review. So last week, week 5, there will be no live class. It's going to be offline between Australia time zone 4th March and 11th March. So please be very careful. This applies to Australian time zone. So if you are watching this session from US, 11 March is wrong for you. For you, probably it's going to be 10th of March, as today is again day earlier for you still there. I'm going to write 40 multiple choice questions, and you need to know 20 of them to pass the exam. For the ones who pass the exams, you are going to be awarded with a certificate like that. So you will get a certificate of achievement with the course name, with CSU and IT Masters logo, my name, and this time signature as well. So make sure you study hard. It's the beginning of virtualization, so fairly basic topics that we are going to cover, but topics that you are going to hopefully enjoy. So yes, I know I shared my email address with you, but I think we have 4,000 or 5,000 people registered to this course already. If all of you email me once, besides doing a natural DOS attack to my email server, you will, besides that, it's impossible for me to answer all these emails. So what are we going to do? Please keep in mind, that's the golden resource for you for the next few weeks. Our main communication tool is https learn.itmasters.edu.au. So this is where you're going to log in. You will as soon as you log in with your username and password, which you received already in an email, you can connect to your dashboard. I can quickly show you actually that. Here's my dashboard. All right, learn.itmasters. So you log in. As soon as you log in, if you have multiple courses, you can see the previous courses, but in this case, you are going to Virtualization Jumpstart. And as soon as you log in, you will have the recording of this webinar here, the PDF copy of this webinar here, and sometimes homework or lots of extra videos here. And this will be week by week given to you. As some of you are aware, we have also our forms here. You can see the forms. Here you can just go to the forms, and as you can see, many people wrote stuff. Sorry, I was a bit sick. I was last week in Germany speaking in the eCrime Congress. I had 2 sessions there, and the problem is from Dubai, from 30 degrees weather going to -7. So I was really sick last few days, so I couldn't answer the questions there, but I can see James is really doing a great job again. And as you can see here, he's talking about the broken webinar links. So we have all our updates in the website for you ready. Okay, enough talk. Let's do some action. As I said, the reward is good. A certificate of achievement from Charles Sturt University, one of most prestigious universities in Australia. And what are we doing this week? This week, I'm going to start with the introduction to the virtualization. Then I will show you some details about Microsoft virtualization, VMware virtualization. Then I'm going to compare these two, and I'm going to try to do a little big demo to give you an idea. So nothing in advance. So if you are already a virtualization expert or you know virtualization, please, keep in mind, this course is not for you. It's level 200 course, which is beginning, Jumpstart into virtualization. So expect that. Don't expect anything level 3 or 400. But we will maybe offer these kinds of course later in the future. All right. What is server virtualization? All right. Probably we noticed Google, Amazon, VMware, Microsoft, most of the big boys, big players are talking about clouds. Cloud is getting the main terminology. Everything is moving towards cloud. But how is this cloud technology working? So, not long, a few years ago, we used to have server rooms. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of you still have server rooms. And in the server rooms, you used to have your own Exchange servers, your own Active Directories, file servers, print servers, Lotus Dominos, SQL servers, or your Sugar servers, all kinds of servers, and everything used to be done on house. Then data centers started to pop up. It was giving you reliability, it was giving you confidence, backup options, but how did all this happen? If you remember, your server room was probably jammed with computers. You had one server for each application or for each key business applications, right? Now, we can create and run multiple computer operating systems on a single physical computer. We can host servers, share resources, all within virtual machines. You can host them on Hyper-V or VMware. Of course, there are others such as Oracle, Amazon, Google, but this course is only focusing on the two biggest players, and I think the two best players if you ask my personal opinion. Server virtualization allows you to deactivate computer hosting service or role from a hardware on which it runs. So it has many other functionalities such as where you can do replicas, where you can have the clones of the servers just in case something's go wrong. So it is giving us lots of different options, but almost all server workloads can now run on the virtual machine. So if you are an old IT administrator, I'm pretty sure we all kicked our keyboards at least once, or we all did try to hit the top of the server saying, hey, why are you not working? Because it was one server, application as many as the server could load, but now we have lots of different virtual machines inside, and it is helping us to reduce the physically deployed servers and, more importantly, optimize resource utilization. Back to the cloud, back to the data centers. That's exactly how the cloud business started to boom, because now the hosting companies or the cloud vendors, whatever you want to call them, they had the opportunity to share more resources on the same hardware, which boomed new business. As I said, it gave lots of benefits such as server consolidations, or more importantly, application isolation. Like before, let's say you had limited space, limited cooling, limited RAM, limited resources, and sometimes you used to have two applications which it doesn't like itself. Think about, for example, Microsoft Exchange with SQL and Active Directory, where usually not recommended to work with another. Please, 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 stop. Don't talk about small business server. I know. This was also a product offering from Microsoft, but to be honest, it was not an enterprise solution. It was, as it says, a small business server. So back to the topic. We had applications, they don't like each other. They crashed each other. Virtualization was the perfect solution for this, because now we could have different services on different virtual machines, different applications on different virtual machines. It helped us to have a simple server deployment process where it increased the service and application availability. And the good thing is, it gave us multiple operating system options that can run on one consistent platform. You name it. My one is Microsoft. Your one is VMware. Or you use Amazon or Google. Or Oracle, I think they have their own platform. And the others. So it helped in to assess optimization as well, where all physical and virtual resources across multiple hypervisors are now managed centrally from one location. There are free versions of virtualization platforms. If you're using Windows 8 and above, you can use the free Hyper-V client. Or if you want something else, you can go, for example, to Oracle VirtualBox or VMware Workstation, which is not free actually, where you can download and have your own virtualization platform. Back to cloud computing. Cloud computing has, I'm pretty sure you all heard about public, private, or hybrid cloud. Public cloud is the cloud that everybody uses, which is a shared location. Private cloud is where you own that cloud only for your own company. Usually government offices or defense organizations use private clouds. Or maybe you are using a hybrid cloud, which is half on premises, half on shared resources. Then there is software service, information of service, platform of service, where you can share, use, or there are many other benefits as we spoke, like managing costs, cutting down power, resources, this and that. So to be honest, we are not going to concentrate on cloud. Our main topic is server virtualization. So what I done, don't forget, we have limited time for this presentation. So I added many hidden slides, okay? But whatever it's hidden, it's not going to be in the exam. So all this information which I'm skipping are on the slide or PDF deck which you are going to receive, but for you to read later. We have limited time here, and the level is level 200, so beginning of jump starting into virtualization. That's why I'm going to concentrate more on the basics, especially today. So for the ones they want to learn more about the terms, please check the PDFs later from our learning platform. Back to the question, back to the topic. So what is really virtualization again? Virtualization is called as consolidation. Remember, we used to have one server for each application sometimes. Now we have multiple applications, multiple different operating systems running on one. Now servers are files It used to be servers are physical resources, right? Now we are using VDX or VMDX, or I don't know what the Oracle or Citrix Zen that is using. They're using many different .vhds files, for example. So servers became files. It used to be hardware. Now hardware is software. Of course, we still need the hardware, but we have a hypervisor level which creates virtual hardware for each software. I can easily tell hardware is now software. And VMs are mobile. You can easily migrate a mobile from one server to another server. If you think about this, 10 years ago, this was not the case. You had to have two servers, everything same installed, clone server A to server B, make sure all applications are running, then demote the old server. Here we go, you are in the new server. All this can be done now on the go. Hyper-V, Microsoft Hyper-V has a feature called Hyper-V Replica. VMware has a feature which is doing the same, replicating the VMs live to another server, another location, another, you name it. So VMs, virtual machines, are mobile. Physical controls are these times blind to critical activities, because what happens is we have a dynamic, elastic, and infeasible controls. What is the dynamic control? The virtual machine mobility, which keeps changing. We said it's elastic. Why? Of course, we use 100% physical hardware with software. Then we have different manual management, periodic audits, bottlenecks. You can allow fixed capacities, or you can have a fixed location. You can have a non-separation. This we can all talk about in week 2 and week 3. The important thing here is virtualization helps the world changing. I'm not going to mention the organization name, but one of the big organizations in Australia saved only close to $200,000 per year by just moving all their server rooms into one data center and moving everything into virtualization platform. The value, as I said, like $200,000, it was an organization, was saved by taxpayers' monies. So people started to save power, space, cooling. But I'm going to be very honest here. Like we said, we are having everything less servers, less power. But honestly, is this always the case? Before, I could have a RAM, I could have a server with 4 GB RAM and 1 power supply. Okay, let's make it redundant. 2 power supplies to have a proper application running. Today, if I want a proper virtualization platform, we all know this is not enough. We should have proper rate, proper power, proper cooling. Otherwise, this is not going to be that efficient. But if we think big, if you use one of the big cloud providers or you build your own data center, then yes, in long term, you will definitely save power, space, and dollars in return. Do you got any questions so far? James?
No questions about the content.
All right, I can.
Just yet,
I mean, I got my other screen open. I can see still USBs, head buttons, and that. Good luck, man. All right. Please, if you have any questions, type them in. and we are more than happy to answer them as long as we can see. How is the speed? Are we too fast, too slow? I guess you understand my accent. No complaints? Good. All right. Virtualization is enabling, or virtualization enables deploying nearly any application into the cloud. At the bottom layer, we have the hypervisor. You name it, Microsoft, Google, VMware. Then we have virtual machines. Then we have application virtualization. Then you have your customer resource management. If you look in the bigger layer, we have infrastructure, our platform, our software, then our processes. And this is the main for all cloud providers. Back to cloud. Keep talking about cloud because we all know virtualization is the grandfather of the cloud. Do you think cloud computing is new? Like, you started to hear the term a lot. Bada bing, surprise. No, it's not. Cloud is actually far longer than you think in use. I'm pretty sure we all use in a stage peer-to-peer networking. I'm pretty sure we all had a hosted application environment. Or we used to have password cracking for distribution pirated software. Huh? Yeah, as a security guru, that's what they call me. Of course I had to put this in. Or we all used our ISP's email addresses, or Hotmail, for example. It was still up in the cloud. You never had the server in your living room, but you had your username, password, and you could get emails, send emails from there. So hosted mail servers. Cloud is not new, but cloud is now covering everything. Like, to be honest, I could not think about a cloud Active Directory in year 2000 when Microsoft introduced Active Directory. But today, you can use Windows Azure Active Directory services, all from the cloud. So, what is Microsoft virtualization? Microsoft uses Hyper-V. As I said, Hyper-V comes in different options. If you're using Windows 8, you can get the client for free. If you want to use Windows Server 2012, or Windows 2008 R2, there is also a Hyper-V, free Hyper-V server. So Windows 2012 Hyper-V edition, where you can go ahead and download. It's like the VMware ESXi. Of course, it's limited on what you can do, but it is perfect for your labs. Then we have Windows Server Hyper-V Architecture. What is that? It supports, again, isolations using partition in which on the operating system are executed. In the virtualization stack, you can run different partitions, and this partition will have direct access to your new hardware. Remember, in the beginning, we said hardware is now software. Child partitions can be created from parent partition, and you can run operating systems right on those. The good thing is, the child partitions does not have direct access to the hardware resources. So, if you get any infections, you can just be a bit more safe. Okay. This is not a security class. I'm pausing here. For the security professionals, we all know these days we have some viruses, worms, or vulnerabilities on some some virtualization stack layers, and some viruses are aware of the hypervisor. So I can but easily tell that it's really especially with Windows Server R2, I didn't come across anything yet, which is by passing through the virtual machines unless you do a configuration mistake. But again, we are not here to cover security course. We're talking purely about virtualization. All right, Microsoft has different types of virtualization. Microsoft offers server virtualization, desktop virtualization, application virtualization, network virtualization, presentation virtualization, and user state virtualization. I'm not going to cover all of these one by one, but please keep in mind all of these are explained in the slides. So as you can see, for example, I'm going to talk about what server virtualization is, network virtualization is. Slide 36, it's hidden. Yes, you can see it's hidden. And there, we're talking about user state virtualization. So don't worry, I'm not covering it live, but later when you download the content, you will have some notes and some information about it. Of course, not in detail, but feel free to share your own resources in our platform, or I'm more than happy to go and share some resources in our platform as well. Okay, so back on to this slide. So please don't freak out when I'm not talking about user state virtualization. But the good thing is here, I'm not talking about it, but if I'm not talking about it, it will not be in the exam. Okay, so you will be only liable on what I cover. Or sometimes I will maybe not cover live in the class. I will record a demo and put it up into the our learning platform, and I will, unless I say this is not covered in the exam, then you will be liable in the exam. So if you want the certificate to your name, you have to listen to me carefully. Okay? Any questions so far?
Still no content questions.
Beautiful. I mean, we didn't
really, Erdal?
deep yet, but it's good.
So everyone, if we've been using the questions box for technical hiccups so far, but if you've got any questions directly about the, about Hyper-V or virtualization that Erdal's been talking about so far, just post them up in the questions chat box, and I'll make a note of them for next time Erdal asks me for, are there any questions?
Thank you, James. As usual, you are my angel. I feel like Charlie, but I'm a bit unlucky. You're a male. Doesn't matter. Charlie with male angels. Okay, I talked about server virtualization. Remember, I said you can create and run multiple operating systems in a single computer. Quick demo. Oh, by the way, this is my Windows 10 laptop. Microsoft Remote Desktop Client. Microsoft. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my demo session. For some reason, I think I didn't start the service. Don't worry, I will do the demo. So, what is a desktop virtualization? Desktop virtualization is virtualization in a desktop site, in a client site, which will allow you run virtual machines on client computers. Of course, this is not enterprise solution most of the time. Or can you imagine, maybe it is. Let's say you're running Windows 10. Here we go. This is my Windows 10 with the latest build, the beta version. Let's say you have an application which only runs on Windows Vista. Yeah, Windows Vista maybe is not the best application. Yes. Let's say Windows Vista, okay? What can you do? Instead of having another computer and installing Windows Vista on it, you can just install Windows Vista on your Hyper-V environment and run maybe this application on the Hyper-V client. So desktop virtualization is perfect for this, which provides an application compatibility solution by allowing users to run virtualized instances of early operating systems and applications. We have also the VDI. What is a VDI? In VDI environment, users connect to a client computer that runs as a virtual machines on a central server. So we got the users where they run the applications, and they access all the data on the virtual machine from any computer or device that supports remote desktop software. It's like thin client. So you might have a tablet, even iPad. Yeah, there's a solution for iPads where you can connect to your Windows environment and run all your applications from the remote desktop via VDI. Citrix has a good solution for that. Microsoft has a perfect solution for that. There are lots of other vendors which gives us this option. The idea is same. It is reducing the hardware cost, and more importantly, it is supporting the new big era after cloud, the BYOD environment. What does BYOD? Bring your own device environment. So I really don't care what kind of device you're running at home. I support as IT everything. My job is you produce data, so you work efficiently. How? Via VDI. So I will give you the solution which will run my work applications in your device. That's VDI. What is then the network virtualization? Network virtualization allows isolation of multiple virtual networks on a physical network. So in Hyper-V we have three different versions: internal only, external only, and private. So you can create 3 different network types based on the type that you want to create. You can share, you might have just one NIC card, but you can still create 3 different network environments via network virtualization. So the server virtualization runs on multiple virtual servers on a physical server. In this example, you see a blue virtual machine, then a red virtual machine. Even though both of them run on the same physical server, they might have their own switches, they might have their own virtualized physical network, physical clients, maybe VLAN, you name it. It's all supported. And even in a client environment, like it could be VMware workstation, it could be Microsoft Hyper-V client, you can do that. So, a reminder, some of the slides are hidden, even though you saw the general name. As I said, feel free to read it later in your own time. We are covering only limited stuff as we have really 1.5 hours. I'm really known for keeping my webinars longer, but James has a life and he wants to go home on time, not just be here all day, all night. Correct me if I'm wrong, James?
Oh, it's not about me, it's about everyone else.
Ah, okay. I was
that's my
excuse. Okay, so all the stars, past, IS will be hidden for you later. Okay, back to Microsoft Hyper-V. The latest Hyper-V is Windows Server 2012 R2. Of course, if you have Windows Server 2008 or Server 2008 R2, you can still use Hyper-V. Here are the resources. The server can have up to 320 logical processors. It supports up to 4 terabytes RAM. And you can have physically 2048 virtual process per server. That's based on Microsoft Test Labs. What else is Windows Server 2012 supporting? As a virtual machine, you can have 64 virtual process per virtual machine. If your hardware supports, you can have up to 1 terabyte memory per virtual machine. And again, if your hardware supports, you can have up to 1024 running virtual machines per server. And each of them can have up to 64 terabyte virtual disk size. Then you can have a failover cluster. What is a failover cluster? It's basically having a replica of your virtual machine environment just in case one of them fails. You can have up to 64 nodes per failover cluster. And look at this number, it's impressive. And that's why, to be honest, I'm telling you up front, Microsoft is my favorite virtualization platform. It supports up to 8,000 virtual machines per cluster. Don't worry. I will cover also the VMware version very shortly, okay? My favor doesn't mean your favor. I'm going to put everything subjectively into the table. I'm going to show the pros and cons of both of the operating system platforms, and you're going to make your own choice. I'm not here to force you to a choice. Neither Microsoft or VMware is paying me commission. We're doing a lecture here, and Charles Stewart, University IT Masters, make sure that you learn both of the platforms equally, and you see the benefits, and you decide on the platform that you want to go ahead. Okay, how is the...
Hi Erdal, we just got a question from Soya here. What's the difference between the logical and a virtual processor?
Okay, what I'm going to do is probably, I have a slide deck actually which I explained it. Logical, virtual, let me just go back to explain it there. So, I think the question came from here. Logical processor, up to 220. Actually, in this slide, you're going to see what I mean. So, we have different kernels, okay, in virtualization layer. And these layers will have basically different, the easiest way to explain it is, give me 2-3 minutes. Once I finish, I'm going to come back to this question. Okay, James? I don't know who asked the question, but promise I'm coming back to this question.
Great. Thanks.
Okay. So, Hyper-V architecture. With Hyper-V architecture, we got the hardware. Keep in mind, you have to have a designed hardware solution with Microsoft if you want the uptime guarantee. So, your hardware should meet Microsoft standards. Or easier said, you should have a Windows logo in your Windows sticker in your laptop server or whatever you are running the application from. Okay, this means designed for Windows. We have our Ring 1, then we have our VM buses, then we have our IHV drivers, VSPs, Windows kernel. So again, I don't want you to really worry much more about these terms. The important thing here for you to understand is there are different layers. These layers runs in a hidden architecture, which help us to have a proper virtualization platform. So once you get your designed server, you install your hypervisor. This hypervisor will bring all this for you in the parent partition automatically. Regardless which Hyper-V version you are using, Windows Hyper-V operating system or Windows 2012 with Hyper-V, it will install all these kernels for you, all these virtual buses, all the logical processes, and the physical logical is basically the processes which is software. Physical is the processes which you can touch, to answer the question quickly, by the way. We will have our kernels, and if you notice, each application, each kernel will run by its own. So it will create an emulation. And it, of course, works better in supported platform. You will see the supported operating system very shortly in the upcoming slides. If not, it's hidden, I guess. It supports basically Red Hat, Linux, and lots of operating systems. But of course, there are non-supported operating systems as well, which we'll not cover, but I will talk about it in the hidden slides. We have then our child partitions where runs our applications. As you can see, they are logically, which means they're logical means here they're separated in the software layer to give the best security solutions. And they will be running as, think all of these red lines as different hardware. This is one computer, maybe networked to each other, maybe not, even though they're running in the same hardware. Any other questions?
I'm not sure if you just covered this one, but for more of a specific definition, Richard's just said, what does a hypervisor do?
Hypervisor is the virtualization layer, which is installed by Windows operating system or by VMware operating system, which is ESXi. Hypervisor is the name.
And so it's sort of the keyword given to types of virtualization where it sort of sits underneath all the operating systems
yes, I think
on the machine.
Yes.
The hypervisor is a very small operating system for running virtualization inside of, as opposed to a full-blown version of like Windows 8 or something.
Yes. Even with Windows 10 here, for example, I got my hypervisor installed. Don't forget, this is still a beta version. So sometimes I think I didn't install this in this one, but yeah, I did not enable it in this one, but it's installed in my Surface, which is running next to it. So I just decided to run the presentation in my laptop, not in my Surface, but it's there. What it does basically, it's installing the operating system inside operating system. What do I mean? My operating system is Windows 10. And I might have a hypervisor here which runs, let's say, Apple macOS. Yeah, you can run that. Why? Because both of them run these days on Intel platform. Even though usually it's Apple users run Windows on theirs. I didn't see many Mac users, many Windows users running Mac on their virtual machines. Okay. Why should you use Microsoft virtualization? First of all, I think we all are very familiar with Microsoft. We know how Microsoft works, looks, and to be honest, even though we have tweaks, changes, even Windows 10, like I'm pretty sure most of you saw it first time, it's like Windows XP. The menu, the only difference is they have now Windows 8 integrated here. How? You can now, for example, get anything from the left and pin it to right. And even though it's new for you, even though you didn't see maybe Windows 8, you didn't like Windows 8, as you can see, you are familiar to it. And Hyper-V is same. It's built in virtualization, which means there is no need for extra layer of application and infrastructure. It's there for you. Inbuilt, it's a role which you can install. I'm going to cover that in detail next week, but I'm going to do a quick demo today as well. Microsoft provides some migration tools. For some of you it might be easy, for some of you it's not. To be honest, I don't want to mention the easy word, but Microsoft has many easy migration tools, especially if you're using System Center, Virtual Machine Manager, you can easily migrate operating system, virtual operating system from VMware environment, versus where VMware has also their own tools to get, versus versa. Microsoft states that they have lower cost and higher value compared to other virtualization products. I do agree in some points, and we will talk about it towards the end of this presentation. All right, it says demo here, but for some reason, Microsoft General Services Client, here we go. Let me get that. 192.168.1.1. Quickly make a demo. Sorry, I just used the wrong IP address. What? One second, please. One second. Sorry, I'm just checking my notes again. So 192.168.1.10. Administrator. Here we go. Here's my VM environment. Sorry, I quickly called my mate. This is my VMware environment, and as you can see, this is our test lab, by the way. For example, I'm running Windows 10, Windows 8, I'm running Virtual Machine Manager, System Center, Kaspersky, Avira, you know, different products that our company has, our Exchange servers, testing environment here. Let's go to Windows 10 Server. That's my playbox here. As you can see, I have computer inside computer, and my Windows 10 server looks like my Windows 10 client, or this is the Hyper-V environment. You got your Hyper-V manager, where you can where you have your, I think you can see, yes, where you can go click new, create a new virtual machine. You can create a new virtual hard disk or virtual floppy. You can also go import a virtual hardware from a different location from a folder. You can create a virtual switch. I don't know if you remember, during my presentation I said there's 3 options. External. External will create your virtual switch that binds the physical network adapter to the virtual machines, and you can access a physical network. Internal, same. The difference is, as the name says, it's just for internal environment. Where private, maybe we'll create a totally private network between 2 computers. You can use a physical network adapter, or you can net an environment. So you can create your own network address translations, where you have your internal network, your private network. You can, if there is a disk issues, you can always edit a disk. You know, even though some of you did not see Hyper-V before, I'm pretty sure it's very familiar. Or even though this is the very latest Hyper-V on server 2012 R2, it's very similar like 2008 with just more options. And you got your settings, your checkpoints. You can always go enable replication. It's all visit driven. So to create any virtual machine, Again, I'm going to cover this in much more details next week. This is just to show you the environment. All what you have to do is next. Or let's say this is my test machine. You can go to the settings. You will see that I have physical hardware there. Let me quickly shut down the server. This is not the recommended way. Please don't do what I'm doing. So settings. Now I can add a SCSI controller, a network adapter, a legacy network adapter. Remember my first slide? The first slide was talking about saying now hardware is software. That's exactly what I meant. The hardware is the software. So my network adapter is a software. Now I can connect it to the physical adapter which I have. My RAM here, it's 1 gig. I can make it 2 gig easily, but the computer has to be turned off. I can enable dynamic memory. What is a dynamic memory? It's basically an amount of memory assigned to the virtual machines, which will dynamically use based on the requirement. So you can say, hey, you know what? You're going to use only 1024, even though it's not the best because we have 248 here. You can then say, you know what? There's a main buffer. You can create processes. With one of the questions was about talking about logical or virtual processes, right? So based on my hardware, I can have up to 4 virtual processors. There are some quadra-cores CPUs which support much more. You can physically reserve some percentage of the virtual machines into this one. And again, if you remember in my slide deck, I said virtual operating systems are not files. Exactly. Look at this. This is all my virtual machines. And they are all now as an extension. And depends on the snapshot, you can create more. You will have more options here. You can create a DVD drive. You can, even though there is no, you can go and map an ISO drive, and etc. So now let's go ahead and start it. It's like me pressing the power button. And as you can see, the icon is perfectly well designed. It's like a power button. It's starting my Windows 10 server. This could be anything else like Linux. I can also connect to my Azure environment. Let me do that as well quickly. Login. So you have to have your credentials. Of course, outlook.com is not a known domain. Hey. Finally, it's found myself. And here's my password. And now you are in my data center. This is in my physical server room here. This is at Microsoft platform. Very similar. As you can see, I have virtual machines running there. You can see, yeah, not now. You can see my websites running there. I got 3 virtual machines. I can run mobile services, cloud services, SQL databases. I can just go create, for example, a new virtual machine. Or I can run my Active Directory. As you can see, I'm using the CentOS in one of my VMs. I'm doing lots of hacking, ethical hacking, penetration testing, or the cloud. You can see, of course, I got credits from Microsoft, which shows me how much money I got left to use my credits. You can create different networks, very similar to Hyper-V environment, and you can just name the network like test. You can just click next here. Come on. Next, finally. You can enter an IP address, VPN. It is giving you lots of options again, where you can use, or you can go learn about virtual machines. You can create workspaces. You can connect to a running virtual machine. You can see the status, the disk I/O. You can monitor it. You can also manage all of them with the preview program. That's my CentOS. That's my threat. Back to you can see my disk usage, the operating system. It's a Linux, Windows Server. All my items are here. I can just create a new one. What would a new virtual machine? I can quickly create one, or I can select one from the gallery. Okay, I would like to create server 2008, 2012, SharePoint server, SQL server. I can go and say, you know what, create an Ubuntu or SUSE or Oracle or Puppet Lab. You got all these options here. It's all visit driven, and this is quickly Microsoft Virtualization for you. Any question? It's time to talk about VMware because we're running out of time. We don't have much time.
There was just a couple of questions here, Erdal.
Please, go ahead.
Just for clarification from Philip, about, so a virtual server, when you've got multiple virtual machines on a computer, does it utilize time slices of the available physical hardware?
Based on the settings, yes. You can go set it up and you can utilize a dynamic spot, which depends based on the usage, or allocate spot, which means doesn't matter how much pressure the virtual machine has, it's going to be always same. So you can have two different settings, of course, based on the physical virtual hardware.
Cool, thanks. One other question, just from Rio, pertaining to hot adding of resources to I believe, to virtual machines. VMware has this capability. I believe you can be running a virtual machine, and as long as your operating system, like Windows Server, allows you to hot add more RAM while it's still running,
yeah,
you can do that. Can you do that with Hyper-V?
No. Here, quickly. Here, for example, I want to change the RAM settings. I can't change it. I can modify the dynamic memory, but not the physical memory. And this is one of the pros and cons which we were going to talk about at the end. Some of them has, like this is, to be honest, better feature in VMware. Yes, it is a better feature in VMware where you can do it, but with Hyper-V you can't. But Hyper-V has other better features which VMware doesn't have. So it's versus versa, and at the end you have to put it all on a scale, look at the cost analysis and decide. Another question?
Yep, and see what works for you.
Yeah. And for me? For me, you can
there was
choose
another
the
one
environments, right?
Yeah. Just one other question here. Monica's asking, how can we practice Hyper-V for ourselves, and how can we, practice vSphere?
Here's my favorite search engine. Everybody has their own. Hyper-V. Just type Hyper-V download, and it will take you straight to the Microsoft website here, and you can download free Hyper-V version, okay? Or if you have Windows 8, you can, or Windows 10, you can just add it as a role. If not, you can go to VirtualBox. But again, it's not going to be practice for this. You can use VMware Workstation, where you can, it's give you similar feeling. But Hyper-V has a free version. So has VMware, where you can download and install it. If you are not an enterprise user, probably it's easier for you to deal with Hyper-V. But if you have a server, even if you're not an enterprise user, then both of the operating system can give you different benefits. Or the easiest way for you to go to technet.microsoft.com. That's for Hyper-V practice. Okay. From there, you can click Learn. They changed the website. There should be. Yeah, you can go download the trial edition. Okay. Or you can just. Where was it? Somewhere here. I will put it directly in the form, so you can do some online labs. Virtual lab. Somewhere here I know, but now I can't. For some reason I can't see it. But make sure you type the virtual lab right. Virtual lab. Here we go. This should have. So for some reason I'm not in a good finding mode as usual while I'm presenting, but they have some online labs which you can do for free as well without installing anything. Make sense? Hello?
That makes sense. Yeah, I think Rohan's just posted a link, so I'll just
I will make sure I put the correct URL. Sorry, for some reason I couldn't find it yet. It was usually there as TechNet website. Click Learn. Maybe it's in the MSDN. Quickly, I wonder. It's a good resource which I want to share. MSDN Microsoft.com. They had a beautiful Learn button here. Products.
So another question
that was
asked was just that. So if we're going to install Hyper-V, do we have to install it physically onto our hardware, not just as a program? Yes, that's correct.
There is two options actually. No, two options. You can do it this way, or you don't have to do it this way. It's totally on the version that you, depending on the version that you're using. So there is a Hyper-V version. It's like VMware. By the way, I got it now. It's like VMware. You can install it as a full Hyper-V operating system. It's command line. Or you can just install Windows, then Hyper-V as a role. Let me quickly show you. I mean, we're going to cover this next week. Let's say this is my Windows 10 server. I want to install Hyper-V role here. Do you mind if I cover this next week? Or maybe very quickly to answer the question, but we're going to be a little bit all the time.
That's probably a good idea. We can cover it more next week.
Beautiful. Okay.
People can put links up to these things in the forums, and we can all go off and try these things out on our own, especially in the labs. People have posted good links in the comments just here, which are good resources. Also a resource for I think trying out VMware labs from Salil here.
Yes, here's the manage, add role. And for me, you're going to add Hyper-V role, okay, as a role. And VMware has something similar. By the way, if you go to technet.microsoft.com, I went to the wrong URL. Click Learn. Now I don't have to do it anymore. It's here. From there, you can select Hyper-V or any Windows operating system and do the lab from here. Next week, I'm going to show the VMware version as well, how we can do it with VMware, in week 3. Okay, I'm running out of time. If there is no other question. For Windows 7, sorry, there is no option.
That's it for now, thank you.
No Hyper-V option. I saw one of the questions. And thank you, one of you gave the VMware version, which is good as well. All right, VMware version, we're going to talk about it right now. So, to be honest, all the definitions are same with VMware as well. So, VMware has its own virtualization layer. Then you can install on top of it your operating system and applications. VMware is using their own way. Think about two different yogurt brands, or think about Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Some of you like Coca-Cola more, some of you like Pepsi more, but at the end they're cola. Both of them are cola, and some of them, you know, like the taste of the other. But if you ask me, they are very, very similar. But the difference is the marketing. You know, Coca-Cola is probably one of the most known brand worldwide. So, as I said, just remove everything what I was talking about. Windows, remove Windows, put ESXi. Here's your Windows, here's your VMware environment. You got your EXI host, which you have to install, okay? Or unless you're using VMware Workstation, the ESXi host is gonna install your hypervisor directly for you. So remember, we had also hypervisor at Microsoft environment. There on top of it, you can use your virtual machines. Both of the operating systems, Microsoft versus VMware, has their own benefits on reading the hardware, on having the allocation of the hardware. Both of them claim they're better. As I said, it's going to be up to you to decide which one is better for your environment. Both of them support 64-bit architecture. On top of it, they have the operating systems and applications in your physical architecture. In your virtual architecture, it's going to be same. You will have still your 64-bit architecture in the background. You're going to have your vSphere and your operating system applications in top of it, where you can share your CPUs, RAM, NICs, hardware, and etc. vSphere and the software-defined data center, again, very similar to Microsoft. They have their pooled computing, pooled storage, pooled networking and security, and automation, which will help you to build your own virtual data center. The difference is, this time we don't have Hyper-V, we have vSphere. I just copied the slide twice, sorry. So, I was talking about cloud environment with Microsoft. How is cloud environment in VMware working? Again, in theory, similar. You got your hypervisor layer, which is the ESXi or vSphere. Then, as soon as you install vSphere, it creates your virtual machine infrastructure, where you can run your virtual machine infrastructure. You can use, for example, VMware Cloud Director, which will enable you to create a cloud. Remember, at Microsoft, I talked about System Center. System Center will help you to create your own cloud environment for Microsoft. Of course, VMware is supporting third-party providers who can have host public or private clouds. Of course, VMware also is supporting you to run your own virtual machine in a private, public, or hybrid cloud to fit your business needs. The definitions are still same. So you might have your different divisions in your organizations, your sales, your human resources, your division. In your private cloud, you will have your own self-service provisioning. It is elastic in terms of using your resources, and VMware is really known for rapid and simplified provisioning. VMware is also claiming that they're secure. Again, as a security guru, I know both of them has their own vulnerabilities. Improved use of IT resources, and of course, it gives you better control in your IT budget as well. So, what is a private cloud again? Exactly as I explained at Microsoft, you might have your individual department or corporate or organizations to deploy their own virtual system as needed. Same as Microsoft, you can have it as a service, as an intranet, behind a firewall. It has its own advantages as we just spoke about it, you can create your own customer management of IT. It's fast, flexible, and you don't have to have anymore the IT as ongoing overhead expense, as long as you have the training, as long as you train the staff on VMware. Hybrid, again, same like Microsoft, you might have some of the virtual application running on your on your premise, and some of them on the cloud. This makes it hybrid, which will make your cloud-based access accessible internally over the internet, or vice versa. Companies first move applications and data to the private cloud, then maybe you move to the hybrid. It will give you the option, it will give you the benefit of cost saving by moving into external accessible cloud. And probably the best highlighted feature here is that applications are transited by using software that meets open standards. This could be good or bad, depend on your environment. I talked about VMware, Microsoft Hyper-V. This is the VMware version of it. So to run the compute, you go to vSphere. For your network and security, you go to vCloud, networking and security, and then NSX. For storage, you can use again the vCenter, Site Recovery Manager. You can have the Virtual SAN. You can have the vCloud Automation Center, IT Management Suite, and as I showed, VMware. So itmasters.edu.au. My password is, I'm not going to tell you my password. Login. I am not going to tell you my password. Maybe Ozkaya@csu.edu.au. Hey. Jumpstart University. Oops. It was working before the session. I will come back to this. You can always come to VMware website and download some trials on there as well. Okay. I got my own, for example, or you can go to training, select the training, and this is the VMware version of it. For some reason, I couldn't connect. Maybe it's just Ozkaya. Oh yeah, here we go. I'm in. I can go select. For this, sorry, you don't have access. But if you want to have access to this, you can go to a VMware IT Academy. In this case, IT Masters CSU is a VMware Training Academy. And we have a full class coming up very soon, which I'm going to deliver. It's called ITC 523. And this is the industry standard course, which is part of our master offering. So you will not just learn about VMware, you will also complete your master's degrees from an Australian university at the same time. You can select the client. You can just then start your demo here. Linux Labs. Let me here's my lab. Come on, start it. All right, you know what? I'm just going to stop here. We're running out of time. Let me finish my slides. I will come back to my demo. If not, I will record the demo for you. For some reason, maybe I didn't download the NDC client to this laptop because I just changed my laptop before the presentation. I was going to run it in a smaller screen. I don't know, for the ones they remember, I had a screen resolution issue. I quickly switched laptops. That's why I did not download the client to this one, but don't worry, I will cover this later. Do we got any question about VMware? So I know I didn't spend too much on explaining the definitions. The definitions are same. The differences, you're going to see it right now. Any questions? Otherwise, James is going to kick me hard not finishing on time. Because
we've got a couple of questions here, Erdal. My favorite one, which is a fantastic question from Martin. What is the difference between vSphere and ESXi?
Okay, ESXi is free version. vSphere, again, we're going to talk about this in much more detail in week 3, okay? But VMware has a free version of it, with exactly like Hyper-V has its own free version. And what it supports is limited. So, for example, with ESXi, I believe you cannot change, again, I'm not 100% sure on that, you cannot change the RAM, for example, on the spot. You have to still turn it off. Or it supports less hardware, or less, like the replication is not supported in the free version, or the backup service is not supported in the free version. Again, I will cover all these in detail in week 3. Why not week 2? Week 2 is Microsoft, week 3 is VMware, okay? Just quickly get this now, and please wait until the date comes where we're going to cover all this with a demo and a slide side by side showing the differences. Okay, Martin?
I think that, yeah, that pretty much covers it. I think that although these days I think VMware refers to it pretty much all also as
As what? James? Did I lost you or we lost everybody? Hello? Yeah. James, I think we lost you. Or I can't hear you. Can you please quickly write? Can everybody hear me? And James at the same time? Yeah, people can hear me. Thank you, thank you. Can you hear James? Yes. James, I can't hear you, sorry. No, can't hear James. James, we lost you. Alright, I'm gonna come back to questions later until James connects back. So quickly, Microsoft versus VMware. Again, we're gonna do this in details in the upcoming weeks, okay? But just the differences between Microsoft and VMware from Microsoft's perspective first. As you can see, Microsoft is using System Center to do the enterprise solutions, where VMware uses its own Service Manager, Cloud Suite, Fabric Application Manager. And again, if you remember in VMware here, VMware.com, sorry, you can see the products offering from VMware, products, all the products that you can buy, and of course they offer lots of other solutions where Microsoft does the same with System Center. Okay, if you remember, I told you in the beginning that Microsoft is supporting up to 1024 active virtual machines. VMware is supporting 512. Both of them support 1 terabyte of virtual machine. Both of them are supporting 64 virtual processors per virtual machine. Microsoft is supporting 64 Hyper-V cluster, where the VMware vSphere Enterprise Plus is supporting 32. Microsoft is supporting up to 8,000 maximum virtual machines per Hyper-V cluster, where VMware is supporting up to 3,000. Then the SR-IOV with live migration support. Microsoft has a support, VMware doesn't. NetEase 4 kilobyte disk support, Microsoft supported. Microsoft support up to 64 terabyte maximum virtual disk space, where with VMware is 2 terabyte. With Microsoft, you can use encrypted cluster storage. With VMware, you can't. For security, you can use the OXS, which is the Open Extensible Switch. With VMware, it's closed. For resource monitoring, you can use Hyper-V resource monitoring. For that, you have to use a paid product. If you have 1 gigabyte simultaneous live migrations, it's unlimited Microsoft, where depends on your licensing, you can have up to 4 or 8 live migrations size. Both of them support live migration. Both of them support share it nothing live migration. Network isolation. To be honest, even though it says VXLAN required, to be honest, I think virtual networking is a bit easier in VMware. Even though I highlighted here as red, there are a couple of options in VMware which I like more in terms of networking. So even though I use Hyper-V, the good thing is good. Virtual machine application, both of them are supporting it. For the guest operating application monitoring, VMware does it on an API level. And in the other hand side, Windows is much bigger than VMware. With VMware, you need only less than 200 megabyte disk footprint. Where with Windows, if it's a server core installation, you need 5 gig. Full installation, 10 gig. Of course, you can have Hyper-V, Windows Hyper-V. Okay, this is a marketing trick here by VMware. You can still download Windows Server Hyper-V edition, but it's still bigger than 200 megabyte. Both of them, to be honest, relies on OS independence, even though VMware put a red dot here. I don't agree with that. I can prove them wrong. You saw in the beginning that Microsoft is supporting different partitions, child partitions as well. Optimize it with hardware vendors. I put the red X here. To be honest, as long as they're VMware partner, then it's a green tick. With Microsoft, it's not different. Remember, I said it has to be Windows certified. So both of them has their own benefits. Both of them has, again, their own advanced memory management. Even though VMware states that NUMA is not supported with Hyper-V, it is, and I'm going to show you next week. Both of them has their own CPU management, and in some cases you have a little bit more option with VMware. But again, please be careful. This is talking about a paid version of VMware, where this is a free version of Hyper-V. If you get Hyper-V with Virtual Machine Manager System Center, which is the equivalent of VMware 5.5, then it's green tick for both of them. Oh yes, this is a great feature which Microsoft can't do it at the moment. You can hot add VM, CPUs, RAM, as per one of you did ask this, where Hyper-V does not support it. For patching, to be honest, I believe patching is a bit easier if you have the proper Windows environment. I think patching is a bit better, but based on VMware, they do patching better. Here's what VMware states. Okay, on the other hand, Microsoft says, hey, you know what? We are cheaper. You can save lots of money on terms of licensing. And to be honest, this is true. I know many government organizations, they switch to they switch from VMware to Microsoft because the integrated cost was cheaper with Hyper-V environment. And Microsoft has a beautiful case study here where it puts the licensing bundles cost, and they claim the virtualization environment in Microsoft is costing you around $10,000, where with VMware is costing you $40,000. Of course, this does not include decommissioning your VMware licensing and creating a new Hyper-V environment. Okay, this assumes that you're ready to pay for the licensing. Yeah, some of them, you know, in some cases VMware can be really much more expensive if you go to the full product suite. But yes, VMware has its own benefits, as I said, where Microsoft has it as well. Okay, for the details, we're going to cover all the details in our deep dive sessions. Week 2 is Microsoft deep dive session. Week 3 is VMware deep dive session. Week 4 is bit of board and fully comparison of bit of board. This is an information slide for you to read later. I'm not going to cover it at all. And this is the same information slide for you for your VMware environment, where you can compare both of them. I know it's a bit slow, but I put the URLs for you here, where you can go and download and compare it yourself. So if you're a Microsoft person, then or if you're using VMware, this is a beautiful link for you, whymicrosoft.com, which compares you step by step everything Microsoft versus VMware. You can download that white paper, but on the other hand side, if you're a Microsoft person and you want to switch to VMware, VMware has its own version of this website called Why VMware. And you can just go and read this here. To be honest, it's much easier to navigate here. If I were VMware, I would invest a bit more and have, the look and feel is a bit easier here. But you decide your own. And I got also my blog where you can connect and read. If you go to the, if you go here to virtualization, I have some other platforms here, or you can just, scroll down. You will see mainly security features here, but again, I will put some virtualization stuff to support this course as well. As we lost James, I think I have to open the questions myself to see if there's any questions.
I'm back now.
Are you back? Beautiful, James.
Yep, sorry, my internet dropped out.
Okay, no problem. I guess I answered most of the questions, but is there any other questions that maybe you want to read out for me?
Yeah, I'm just going through the list now. I think there might be just a couple of others left. We've had a couple of questions about whether Hyper-V or whether VMware can dynamically allocate virtual hard drive space, and does it involve closing, or can you do it without?
I think we answered with VMware you can, with Hyper-V you can't. And this is a feature which I like in VMware, to be honest. Yeah?
Yep.
So I don't know if you noticed, I tried to put...
That's all I can pick out from the list at the moment. No, that's it.
Okay, I tried to bit... I went to both of the resources. I put everything, and some of them I do agree. If you see a red dot here, it means I don't agree. And as you can see, I have it at Microsoft as well as VMware places. So again, both of them are, to be honest, good platforms. They compete with each other. Again, none of them are paying me to run this course or give the right advice. My job is here as academic to tell you about both of the platforms. The choice is yours. My choice is not always the best choice for you, but of course everybody has their own taste. I'm not going to sit down here and argue with, for example, Martin saying, oh no, Microsoft is better, no, VMware is better. It's not about who's better. It's about what they offer and what fits me and my budget and my environment. Okay? So, as I said, this is the beginning, jumpstart to virtualization. Next week, we will fully concentrate on Microsoft virtualization in depth. I'm going to show you how we can create virtual machines, machine hardware, files, how you can create virtual machine. I will also tell you the differences between free version, Hyper-V, and paid version, which is the System Center Virtual Machine Manager. And the webinar is next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Sydney time. Okay? I know we have people all across the globe. So please make sure this is Australian Eastern Daylight Time. I think before in March the daylight time is going to change, but we will announce it to you. All right. My blog, my Facebook is there. If you are on Twitter, please don't forget to tweet about the course. Let's make, I mean, we have already lots of people, thousands of people joined this class, but the more, the better. Please go ahead and use the IT Masters CSU hashtag, maybe hashtag Erdal Ozkaya, my name, and let's make a fuss about this class. Let's make more people join this class. The more, the better, I guess. And I think it will give us the budget from CSU, from Charles Sturt University, to run more classes like this for free. My contact details are still the same, didn't change, okay? So email me, reach me out from the apps, or most importantly, please, 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 make sure you use our learning platform. You will make me and James happier. I think we still have some presence if you be really active in our forum and answer lots of questions, share lots of resources. I think we didn't talk about it before, but Martin, our CEO, IT Master CEO, not the students who had the question before, we can get you some free CSU wines. Yeah, James, you think we can get it from our CEO?
Yeah, we'll have a talk about that if you're in Australia. Otherwise, perhaps an Amazon voucher.
Yeah, if you are not in Australia, we can give you an Amazon voucher. So please be active in the forums. And the most active person is getting either Amazon voucher or free wine. Depends on if you're in Australia and you don't drink wine, maybe we can give you the voucher as well. You know, it's your choice. So please, 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 please be active in the forums. I hope you enjoyed the session. Don't forget, at the end, you are getting a certificate of achievement from Charles Sturt University. I would like to first thank James for his effort. You know, he's the one who is, to be honest, volunteeringly sitting here. I'm getting paid. Sitting there and helping me. And all of you, thousands of people across the globe, maybe waking up early, maybe standing up and, you know, taking off from work to join this class. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to tweet about it, as I said. What I usually do, I go to Twitter as well and see if you have any live tweets, if you hashtag me. No? Yeah, actually two. Let me see. So, Rohan, I don't know if you're in the class, but you retweeted about this. If not, so tag me and CSU. Please write your feedback, good or bad. If it's bad, I will hack you. No, just joking. All right, if there is no more questions. Yeah, for the VMware demo, for some reason I couldn't run it, but don't worry, I will record it. Here's my platform. I got it ready. I need, as you can see, I need to download because it's Windows 10 here. I didn't test it here. I'm really sorry. As in the beginning we had a small issue. Quickly I had to switch laptops. So that's the reason. Otherwise, I'm going to record a demo for you and publish it in our forums. Okay? Let me see. Anybody tweeted anything? No? No problem. Okay. Thank you very much for joining. Andrew just retweeted. Thank you, Andrew. Thanks very much for joining, and I'm looking forward to see all of you next Wednesday in this class again. If you have any personal question, email me or James, or any personal feedback that you don't want to put it in forums, feel free to email us. Otherwise, the forums are the best place. Thank you very much for joining. Have a wonderful night, day, morning, wherever you are. We are looking forward to see all of you next week again. Bye-bye.